Yo, Wagwan, it's that guy, knotlocks. This is Not Nation, the internet's biggest freeform dreadlock community here on YouTube. I thank you and welcome you to the community. Before we get started, please, everybody, drop a like on this video and please share it with just one person, and let's beat YouTube's algorithm and let's get this content out there. So drop a like and share it with just one person is the greatest way that you can support this channel. Moving forward, Happy New Year to everybody. And within this new year, we have lots of great Freeform Loc content to be produced. In today's episode, I am looking at separating Freeform Locs into traditional locks, a must-see transformation, coming from Alexis Harris, who currently has almost 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I'm gonna go ahead and subscribe to her channel. Without further ado, let's jump right into this video that you've just liked and shared, and I will be talking about a Freeform Loc transformation here. So let's see how this turns out to play. Right off the bat, his locks are actually looking pretty sick. Freeform Locs to traditional locks. Typically this is done the other way around. Typically on this channel we go from people moving from traditional locks into freeform locks, but lately there has been a surge of people who have been doing the reverse. And for what reasons, I don't know, because when you have the freeform locks to begin with, like, they're free and it's true freedom of your energy, so why get it retwisted? Maybe we'll learn something here. Maybe we'll learn. She's going in with the scissors right away to separate and then pulling them apart with her hands. This dude's got the high top going on. He's been freeforming for 9 months. I think I always gonna say this, but they look better before. I haven't even seen the after, but I love the before already. 4C type hair. And that's a good point. If you ever have locks and then you want to start over or thinking of redoing them somehow, it's always best to try and salvage the locks you have rather than cutting them off completely and then restarting. So you may as well just try and start something new first before cutting them off. And so this is why it brings me to this video. I find this fascinating to see this transformation happen here, just because I know it's something that I wouldn't do myself. So I like to see what other people are going through in this process. She literally just said the same thing I just said. Fascinated by the whole process. You can see some buildup in this dude's locks down here. You can see that already. Some of the tips were starting to go sun-kissed to a lighter brown. And I just realized that, you know, her audio ain't coming through here.
And what part of the process she's on.
Now that we got the audio from the ladies voiceover, we may as well continue the video. Crazy to see this right now. A lot of buildup, a lot of dry scalp issues we can see here. This dude's gonna need a big detox before going into traditional locks. I kind of cringe at the sound of scissors separating locks. I don't know what it is. It's just cringy, and I wouldn't want that happening on my head. That's why I'm here to watch it and see what's happening. Crazy to see this though. And oftentimes before they get this transformation done, it looks better once separated before the retwist actually happens. So most of the times when people are looking to go from freeform to traditional locks because they don't like the look, really, I feel like they just don't like the big congos, and all it really needs is some separation.
Gloria stepped away for a second. I told my little brother to turn around so I could see the progress that's being made. So you can tell they're already starting to look more
There's even some lint kind of build up here. So not sure what he was using to wash his hair, if anything. But something was definitely building up in there. Whether it was sebum, shampoo, just dry scalp.
Separated than when she first started. We were pretty excited.
That's wild. I love the way Freeform Locs look. And this is like a kind of a just out of the dread fro stage. Looks like a lot of work to do this though. Definitely not cheap on the wallet. You know, probably at least $200 to get this kind of work done to your hair. You know, which really defies the point of Freeform Locs. If you're going to be spending money to attain freeform, because they're free. Freeform is free. You don't need anybody to do anything to your hair, but the universe itself will take care of it. Your body itself will take care of the lock forming process. I like this front lock here. It's got a big Congo happening, kind of like the weekend. Now that they've been separated, they're starting to fall down a little bit more. A lot of scissoring going on here. I've seen people use seam rippers to do this type of work. Sometimes they just use smaller scissors. I feel like using scissors is just kind of like a bit too Babylon, if I could say that. I've personally stopped separating my hair altogether, and I'm so thankful to do that because I have some of the thickest locks I've ever attained in my life at this point. Shaking them out.
So this is
how they look after the separation.
how his hair looked after she washed it. And of course, he was feeling himself quite a bit.
After the wash, too. They didn't show the wash. I was interested to see what kind of detox dirt came out of there.
And I don't know about you guys, but I love the way it's looking already. So if you haven't given this video a thumbs up, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe.
And you can see all the new growth that he has that's not locked up yet. We're going to see a big transformation now because we're going to start seeing some scalp being exposed. We're going to start seeing some parts being put in. Probably hair clips.
Subscribe button because we're about halfway done with this transformation. Shout out to Gloria.
Shout outs Gloria for doing her wonderful loctician work. Definitely know that it takes a long time and a lot of patience to do this type of work.
All right, y'all. After the wash, we've got to retwist. So let the retwisting begin.
So retwisting with some locking gel.
You guys will notice that Gloria is cutting off the extra arms and legs on each lock just to make sure it's uniformed and it's not one lock that's split into two toward the bottom.
Oh, my heart. Oh, it hurts. No. Breaks my heart to see that. Honestly, over this way, I prefer Val's Tough Cuts because he at least crochets everything together still, retaining all the hair that was there. Just cutting off loose dreads like that, like, ugh, breaks my heart. No.
Bottom.
Ugh. No. Like, taking thick dreads and just thinning them out like that, like, that's, ugh. I'm hurting. So she's retwisting with some gel, probably the mango and lime. There's lots of locking gels out there. Honestly, none of them in my books have I seen like really healthy ones because they all contain ingredients full of chemicals, full of fragrances and perfumes. Like, I don't really get how these products are so popular considering there's so much trash in the ingredients. But I'll be honest, like, that's just how the world is. A lot of people living off of products full of crap and trash ingredients that they're always putting into our bodies and onto our skins. That it's like we're not even really aware of what these chemicals are actually doing to us. So I mean, I don't blame anybody for not knowing, but once you know, and then it's time to avoid these products. So this is why I plant these seeds now, just letting people know the dangers of using these products, especially petroleum based. It's kind of not good for us. So she goes ahead and twists, puts the hair clip in. Believe it or not, I've never done a retwist for my dreadlocks before. I've never tried it. And you know what? It looks like she's using a hell of a lot of locking gel to do this. Like in my perspective, I feel like that's too much because I'm always preaching less is more for locking gels or any sort of substance in our hair. And this is just being caked and gunked on like real big. If you're watching this, Gloria, it'd be awesome to hear which locking gel you are using on dude's head.
As you guys can see here, Gloria is using an instant lock tool just to make sure all that new growth kind of mats together and locks sort of instantly.
So the crochet hook, the double-ended crochet hook, I feel that this is the better option than cutting off those loose dreads that were congoed off. Like just crochet them together into a dread. The process that she's doing now is going to create pretty much the exact same shape lock along all of his head. Uniform, symmetrical, the exact opposite of what he had.
To catch up with the rest of his lock. So that's that little tool that you guys see, and she told me to let you guys know what it was because I was standing there so confused. But just so you guys know, it's an instant lock tool.
Instant lock tool is same as it's just a crochet hook, double-headed crochet hook. There's also triple-headed crochet hooks. A lot of locticians and wicticians are using these days. And just to put it out there, I'm not hating on anybody doing this process. I'm not hating on the locticians or anything. I just have my set of opinions, and I want to share them. But I do appreciate the locticians out there that are helping people attain locks. I do appreciate the knowledge that's being put out on the internet about locks because this sort of information, these sort of videos didn't exist 10 years ago. So it's good to see the community growing, the knowledge being spread further out there, and and for me in this community of Freeform Locs, this kind of shows me what not to do. I want to show these videos so that people can understand where they could take their hair if they really wanted to out of Freeform Locs before deciding to cut them. But I'm just here to show you this really to keep people inspired to keep on freeforming, to show that at least in our perspectives, that this whole transformation looked better before than the after. So, I mean, it's got to be a long process to do this, at least a few hours. You can see his face, looks like he's kind of in pain a little bit when she pulls on certain parts. Too much. Oh no, the Congos. That's my favorite part. It's literally painful to watch. Let me know in the comments below. Leave some engaging comments on what you guys think about this whole process, because this is honestly blowing my mind right now. And usually after the hair clips are in, you sit under a blow dryer for a while, let them get really hot. Sometimes they can burn your scalp if you're not careful. Damn. But why would somebody want to go from freeform locks to traditional locks? Because you're just creating so much more work for yourself and so much more money to be spent on maintenance if you're not willing to do the work yourself. It's kind of crazy. Definitely a long process. Just twisting, clipping. And she's not using a new clip for each dread like some people I've seen do. She's pretty much attaching them to the same clip that's reachable in that area. Now, as I was saying, I've never dabbled in this retwist method before in my locks. I always thought that my hair type wasn't going to work with it. That's why I went with the interlocking technique. Learning from Gunther's videos, I feel like it would actually work over time if I was just patient enough to do it. But honestly, I have more patience for the freeform route than for a retwist route now. Only because I wouldn't want dreadlocks so thin ever again in my life. Thicker the better for me at this point, just because they create so much more uniqueness, so much more charisma, opposed to thin locks that I feel are susceptible to breaking a lot easier than any Congo or any freeform or even a wick could possibly take. So we're coming up to the top end of the locks now, top end of the head. She's moving through these pretty quick. I think the fact that he's only got a high top of dreads made this process a lot smoother, a lot quicker for the Loctician Gloria. She's kind of just coming to the end of the transformation now. Still very fascinating, I must say. I love seeing a good transformation on YouTube. I mean, I'm sure all you guys love seeing a great transformation. This is kind of what it's all about, seeing befores and afters. It's just that in this day and age now, there's a lot more instant transformations happening with locks that you never would have seen in the past. You know, freeforming your hair is definitely the slowest transformation that you could do for your dreadlocks. So to see this kind of happen, and they're done.
After a while under the dryer, we're now ready for the big reveal.
Okay.
Brace yourself, guys. I'm pretty impressed. And if you are, give this video a thumbs up. Show me, my brother, and Gloria some love.
Damn. So I'd be interested to see how these turn out like a few weeks down the road when they thicken up a bit at the roots. Because right now they're really thin at the roots and then thicker at the bottom. And like, oh, it's crazy because all the volume is gone. You know, this makes his forehead appear to be further back now that the freeforms aren't kind of falling in front of his face anymore. And yeah, I definitely feel like the before was better. Let me know in the comments below. Let's leave one word: before fire or after fire emoji. Let's keep it at that. I mean, it looks pretty clean at the front here. I want to see how much these thicken up over time. The new twisted part. Still left some of the Congos down here. I like that. That's a good call. If anything, not cutting them off, but combining them with your instant lock tool would be the best solution. That's the top of his head now. We can see a lot of scalp, a lot of sectioning going on. Really thin twists. And I wonder how much pain he's in on a scale of 1 to 10. Because I know it's not a 0. And that's it. That's literally it for the freeform lock transformation. So going back to the beginning, I mean, I like this way better before. This actually had way more volume to it, way more character. It's got wicks going on. They were thicker. I feel like they looked stronger at this point, and had to be left alone, these would have been some crazy unique freeform locks. And I feel like the dude just wanted to blend in a bit more with the traditional way of locks at this point. But it's funny because if you think of the word traditional locks, when dreadlocks first came around, the traditional way of dreadlocks were the freeform neglect, because that was literally the only way to attain dreadlocks before the retwisting and the interlocking and the crochet hooks came around. Traditional locks started off as freeform locks. So it's kind of backwards, and it doesn't surprise me because we live in a very backwards world. If you haven't noticed the way that we're governed on this planet, all these laws really don't make sense a lot of the times, and a lot of things are backwards. And so it doesn't surprise me that now they're called traditional locks, these maintained ones. But essentially, when dreadlocks first came around, they first started gaining traction, it was all freeforms happening. So in my mind, traditional way of locks is the freeform neglect method because it was the first method to attain locks. So maybe instead of traditional locks, this is called like Babylon locks, you know? Separating freeform locks into Babylon locks. This is my 2 cents. But anyways, I'm going to end this video here. Definitely support Gloria and Alexis on their journey. I appreciate them making this great content to react to. And if you're new to this channel, my name is knotlocks. This is Knot Nation. We do dreadlock related content every single day from the freeform realm all the way to the twisted realm, back to the interlocks, and then reviewing some people in the celebrity culture as well. So definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm going to ask one more time, if you haven't already, please share this video with just one person. It's a big, big way to support the channel. And it's 2021 now, and we got big goals ahead of us. And the only way to attain these goals is by all of us helping out each other. So let's do the damn thing. I'm going to sign off, but until next time, peace out, one love, stay happy and natty. And if you haven't, bust a smile today because dreadlocks make us feel beautiful. I'll see you guys next time. I'm gone. Adios.
The nation.